Good day and welcome to a special edition of Off the Wheel. To our usual viewers, this is not our normal format, but today I'm sharing a special interview that I did where I sat down and shared some details about the latest real estate project that I'm working on. This real estate project is for Black Americans moving to Ghana. I had the pleasure of making this presentation, our first public presentation, with the 10K project, where I sat down with Tawana, who is the CEO of the 10K project, where I shared some details and answered some questions. So please share this interview, this video with your network. I'm looking to bring additional investors on to join our investor group. You can find out how to become an investor by going to our crowdfunding campaign page here. I'm also taking applications for Black Americans looking to leave America and move to Ghana who want to consider rental units either temporarily or permanently. For more information, you can text 212-710-1360. You can WhatsApp using Ghana country code +233 50 455 5058. Or you can email us at info@monarchvillage.live.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us. My name is Tawana Rivers. This is the 10K Project, and we are here again this week to love on another Black founder. Tonight is special, y'all. So Mr. Dale Bryant is joining us from Monarch Village, and Dale is a member. And y'all know I get so excited when 10K Project members come to us to help them with their projects. So Dale knows the lay of the land around here, right, as a member, and he is doing amazing things. Dale is actually in Ghana, so we have an international opportunity tonight. So I'm so excited to talk about this. So as you guys know, here with us in the Zoom, we'll start by showing the campaign page. And then once we look at the campaign page, and I'll show you how to navigate it a little bit, we will go ahead and turn the mic over to Dale. We will also be putting the campaign link in the chat here in Zoom throughout the evening. So Dale, you don't have to worry about doing that. And then we'll also add it to the comment section in the Facebook group. So those of you who want to follow the campaign link prior to us sending you the replay email that will include the link, you guys can do that by capturing it in the chat or in the comments. All right, so with that said, I am going to share my screen. This campaign is on WeFunder. WeFunder is a platform that we've come to often, so I won't spend a lot of time here, but I do want to show you that there is a really informative video that Dale has included. The campaign to date has raised $143,000 from 15 investors, and we're still in the early bird stages of this campaign. And what that means is, on this campaign is a revenue share opportunity. 40% of revenue will be put up. And the early bird special is you get 2.7 times payback multiple versus 2.45. So you guys know I love a good early bird special, right? Because it gives you the opportunity to get a better benefit than those who come later simply by being an early adopter, an early believer. And so if at the end of the evening and if at the end of your due diligence process, you feel like this fits in your portfolio, you don't want to wait because you want to take advantage of the early bird terms. And there's $107,000 left in that early bird round. All right. I always tell you guys when you go to the campaign pages, what do you need to do? You need to look at everything. The founders spend a lot of time putting all the information out here that they believe you should see, right? They know the questions you're going to answer, and so they anticipate that, and they add information out here that supports the questions they know you want answers to. So we see the pitch presentation is going to be out here. Dell's going to go over that this evening. There's other information about the financials, the Form Cs out here, what people are saying about the campaign. So you see questions are here as well. So if at the end of tonight you have additional questions, please don't hesitate to go here in the Ask a Question section and answer them. I love that we can see some activity here. That means that Dale is answering the questions of the people, right? Sometimes we come out here and this page is blank and you wonder, you know, do people understand that this is here? Do they know this is a place where they can ask questions? Well, we don't have to worry about that here. We can see there are plenty of questions and answers here. All right. So with that said, I am going to stop sharing. Mr. Bryant, I am going to turn it over to you. First of all, thank you so very much for being a member of the 10K Project, but also having this amazing opportunity and bringing it home to us so that we can support you.
Not only a member, but I would like to add an active member.
That's right.
So good to be here. Been a member for a long time, seen a lot of things, and you never know when it's your turn up at bat. You got to be prepared. So here we are. My name is Dale. Just want to say I'm broadcasting from Ghana now. My wife and I moved here 2 years ago. She was burned out in healthcare. The political unrest was much, and COVID hit her hospital. And that was the impetus for us to consider looking at other places to write it all out. And so we investigated Ghana in 21, moved in September of 22. Off the plane, I've been looking for opportunities. There's a lot of opportunities here in Ghana. And because of the cultural disconnect, it presents a chasm for even more opportunities to be seized upon. And so I'm here to talk about my flagship project. And so I'd like to share, if I may, this is the same information that's on the Leaf Under campaign, but I can go through it, give it a little context with color. So this project is called Monarch Village. It's a large R, small S, large R retirement, small S senior living community. And I say large R because you can be a retiree and not be of senior age. I run an investment firm still, almost 30 years running an investment firm based out of New York City. And a lot of my Department of Education, my MTA clients, been working since 1920, put that 20 years in, got that check, young. So you can be retired and not crack the 50 mark yet. And so this is geared toward African-American expats moving to Ghana. And so let me just go through the deck and then open up for questions. And so the name Monarch Village falls in line with all of my projects in Ghana, which have some sort of relationship to a butterfly name. And as I have here, butterflies represent change, metamorphosis. And this is what a typical Black expat feels when we hit the ancestral land and our feet touches down and feels that electricity and that history. And so of all the butterflies, monarchs live the longest, like the residents of this project, and also migrate the furthest. And so it just made sense to call this project Monarch Village. The opportunity. So people have been coming to Ghana for some time, but the first wave of pioneers have been what I would call spiritual travelers, really connected to the history, to the culture, and they came early, and now what's happening is Ghana is becoming a real alternative to moving, whereas the South used to be the only place you retire, you'd move down south and retire. And so now Ghana is becoming a real good option to consider. The second wave of expats, I would include myself. My wife and I, when we met, we both owned homes. We got together, we admitted we never wanted to own another home. So we found something identical here in Ghana, a Ghana company. And so this second wave of movers is not necessarily looking to buy land and build only. They're looking at condo purchases, they're considering rental units. What was once a very unfamiliar terrain, social media has really presented Ghana in a nice light. And with so many YouTube channels and TikToks, it's really interesting. And the year of return, all of these things have conspired to make Ghana feel like it's not even a foreign land. Like it might be the sixth borough, another borough. And this is a New York reference, I'm sorry. The sixth borough. And so social media has been good for Ghana. Also, the cost of living in the US, this was a big deal in the last election. And a Social Security check just isn't going as far as it used to. And because Ghana is so affordable and the dollar is so strong against most African countries, including Ghana, your money goes a lot farther here. And so the cost of living is something to consider. And most importantly, there's no senior living market in Ghana. And that's primarily because of two things. Number one, because there's no mortgage market in Ghana, there are no mortgages. You want to buy a house, you have to buy it cash, which is why when you come to Ghana, you'll see a lot of things that look like they're abandoned. They're not, they're just unfinished because you make some money, you put in a foundation. You earn some more money, you put up a wall, put up a window. So lack of mortgage industry plays a part. And also because of the culture, like it's such a big deal to buy a house. When you buy that house, you ain't selling it. So there's very little secondary market activity, like in America. You know, a house might be passed around like the owner might own it for 5 years, another owner for 10, another owner for 2 years. In Ghana, that's not the case. So families typically stick together, and typically grandpa, grandma is, if they're not in your house, they're around the corner. Whereas it's different in the States, and almost all of my aunts and uncles are living in senior living arrangements far from their children in America. So because there's no mortgage industry, which affects aftermarket sales of homes, and there's no senior living market in Ghana because of the culture, developers have never thought or conceptualized to provide a service. Nothing was needed. But when you have the Black Americans who are coming, I estimate that 85% do still want to buy land and build, but I would estimate at least 15% more are interested in rental units. And to be clear, this is a rental unit opportunity. So the plan, it's a 28-acre Site plan with 144 self-contained efficiency apartments, created, designed, curated to foster community, entertainment, quality living, etc. A short list of things that will be on premise. A big thing for our people who are coming over, who might have health conditions and are worried about, can I get decent health care? Are the medications that I'm on available? And so we pay a lot of attention to health issues for our residents. Money center, fitness room, salon, theater. This is a short list to provide very good service for our residents. This is one of our final designs. The arms are the residential units, the 4 arms, and the centerpiece is all of the shared space. 3 stories. And again, this is on the WeFunder page, so that after you finish listening to me give context, you can go back and see it on the page as well. These are the efficiency apartments. They're 1 bedroom, for the most part, maybe 90%. And I'll explain why. And 10% will be double occupancy. So this is important, especially for this crowd. This is my cap table roadmap. It's designed to show investors where they can get in that's most comfortable for their risk appetite and their return expectations. So we're currently in that first box, phase 1 red box, the revenue share. The next round after this closes end of the year. This initial revenue share closes end of the year. The next round will be price to equity round. And then the last 3 boxes, what I call professional. These are people who are on the sidelines looking. They don't want to write checks just yet until most of the project has been de-risked. And for that, they will be happy with fixed rate of returns. I do want to point something out very interesting. I purposely left old information up on this slide to make a point. So the 15%, 13%, 11% are preferred share rates that the professional money can expect. These were rates that I put up that could be paid and the project would still be profitable before the latest round of interest rate cuts. And whenever the Fed lowers the rates, the world lowers their rates, and expectations follow the interest rate cuts. So what I'm saying is, whenever professional money is looking at what kind of return they will accept, they'll take a safe security like a 10-year note or a 30-year bond, and they'll add a couple of basis points above it, 300 basis points, 400 basis points, 3%, 4% as a risk premium, and that will be an appropriate return given the additional risk versus a note or bond. So that 15, that 13, and 11 will come down, which means more money for investors, but I wanted to leave it up. I wanted to put the old information up to show that interest rates have moved in this project's favor. So in this first round, you'll see looking to raise about 250 or a little bit more $1,000. And because it's a revenue share, I'll just share revenue projections, 144 units. So I believe that my market research has shown that I can get somewhere between 500 and 650 US dollars per month for these rental units, given all of the support and amenities that come along with being a resident. I listed the $350 column because even at $350, the project is profitable. I believe I can get $650 for rent per month. And at the bottom right, I've taken the average Social Security check from the Social Security Administration's own website, 1,900, to show that even if I ask for $650 in rent, it would be about a third of an average check. But unlike the analysis of a US-based resident, a Ghanaian-based expat who has 66% of their check left over, that money goes a lot further here in Ghana than America. So $2,000 in America can barely get you anything. But 1,900 minus 650, what's left over from that in Ghana is upper middle class. And so because this is revenue share, payback comes from the top line. So I just wanted to show you what the units would generate in revenue. Now, what's interesting is, even if I can't get to 650, let's say I can only get 500, because the market will tell you what you can get. You can ask for anything, but the market will tell you what you can get. What's good about this project is there are additional revenue opportunities, AROs. So, storage units. I'll ask the chat if they agree with my projections. I'm saying at least 30% of residents will lug a lot of their stuff across the ocean. Like most of us have had storage units and you're attached to your stuff. I'm saying at least 30% of our residents will spend X amount of dollars to store some of their belongings that they don't want to let go. People I talk to believe it could be as high as 50 or 60%. So that's another revenue opportunity. The double occupancy will rent for higher than the single units. And finally, you have to expect, and this has been my experience here, that people who live here get visitors. We get a lot of visitors. The people that we know who live here get a lot of visitors. When people know that you live in Ghana, it's like, I've seen people more here in Ghana than I've seen in Brooklyn, around the corner. So I'm estimating that at least 50% of residents will have one visitor per year. And we have Airbnb housing stock to house those visitors. People that I talk to believe that the 50% is low and the one visitor per year is low. But I'm just giving you conservative numbers on all of these additional revenue opportunities, which will raise the average revenue per unit past the rent that the market tells me I can get. And one of the biggest advantages of this project is the currency play. 100% of the revenue will be in dollars, maybe 99% if you got some local activities you're doing, but almost 100% of income is in dollars, and almost all of your expenses will be in local currency. And the reason why that's a big deal is, let's just take your biggest expense or one of your biggest expenses, it's either rent or labor, depending. But we're going to say that for the most part, labor is your biggest expense in business. Your average service salary here in Ghana is about 700 CDs to 1,000 Ghana per month. $50 to $60 per month. People are living off. I expect to pay somewhere between 3 and 4 times that. Somewhere between 3 and 4,000. There's a lot of government jobs that are getting 3 or 4,000 CDs per month. But even paying upper middle class wages will cost us about $250 per month, which if you're a US based investor looking at your big expense, your biggest expense, to say that you can get a person for $250 per month and not exploit them is incredible. And so we'll pay 3 to 4 times the market rate, but because of the currency advantage, it really suppresses your expenses. It generates unusually high profit margins. So this is just a proof of concept example, and I include this because I've had this refunder campaign open since February or March. Friends and family, I really haven't. Actually, this is the first time I'm going public with the campaign on 10K Project. Having said that, I get random emails from people who don't know I'm working on this project, but know that I talked about Ghana and relocating to Ghana. I get random emails from seniors and retirees saying, can you help me find something in Ghana? So I have about 8 of these, which I find to be just amazing, given the fact that I only have 144 units and I haven't even talked about the project. Not a Facebook ad, not enough. So to me, I think this is a good sign. This is a woman who moved from California to Panama. She was liking the cheaper living, but what she didn't like was it was a military community and primarily Spanish speaking. She saw our videos and told her about the project I was working on. She told me I was having sense, so I'll take that as a compliment. Interesting information that I have observed from people coming through our Airbnbs and talking with people on the ground. A lot of data that I get to make my assumptions, to make my financial projections, come from the 2 Airbnbs that we own, and the YouTube serves as like a funnel to let people know that we're here and we relocated and you can do the same thing. And then they come stay at our Airbnbs, we show them around, we help them practice living in Ghana, and then I get all of this nice intel. So right now, anecdotally, 85% of the people who are coming into Ghana from the States, Black expats, are single women 55 years plus. 5% are married couples, 5% are men, and the remaining 5% are young folk. But it's the 85% where the opportunity is. And so also, if you look at the bottom, we have two plays. We have people who don't want to buy land and don't want to build because they don't have the money to buy land or build, but they do have income to rent. Then you have people who will rent because while they do have the money to buy and build, they don't want to exhaust their savings. And then you'll have people who haven't figured it out just yet. We get quite a few Airbnb visitors. One-way ticket, 20 suitcases. They don't know what they're gonna do, but they know they don't want to do it in America. And they're gonna figure it out here. So I would say a small chunk of our business will be residents who want to enjoy the amenities that we have to offer while they figure out what they want to do. Some will leave, and I suspect some will stay. Other considerations, although the structure won't be ADA compliant strictly, it will be ADA guided. We know our people are coming with mobility issues, and so we're very, very in tune to providing support. This is important because I would say, generally speaking, Ghanaian developments historically have not at all paid attention to this, and even today, only a few developers will give you wheelchair access, ramps, or bars for holding to brace yourself, or extra wide doorways, smart bathrooms, etc. So this is an important thing because we know what our residents will need. Solar, we're building with the intentions, even if we don't go 100% solar initially, we're building with the intentions of being able to add later modularly as we see fit. And then I'm also really excited about the opportunity for cross-collaboration deals. Every time I'm in Ghana, so it's late here now, so I don't always get to watch live. So I wake up in the morning, and as I'm going through my morning routine, I play the video, and I'm like, oh my God, I wish I was on that video last night, so I could have told that person, I'm gonna buy this from you. So the last person that we saw recently was I call her the patio furniture lady. And nothing would make me happier than to buy all of our patio furniture and ship it over here. So I think there's a lot of cross-collab opportunities for in-family commerce. So the construction roadmap is simple. The first chunk of money that goes to land acquisition, survey, title, all that stuff. And then land clearing, foundation building, and then finally construction. As the campaign suggests, I got 143 that are raised. 75 has made its way into my bank. And so this is where we are. That 75 can buy 9 of the acres that's needed. Each of these boxes is 1 acre. So you can see how our facility, our main facility, spreads across 9 acres. So right now, I have the money to buy the 9 acres that the main facility will rest on. And then this is what it will look like with storage units, with the AirBnB units, and other amenities. So on the left, you have what it would look like on 20-something acres, and on the right, depending on the amount that I raise, if we're so fortunate to get a nice influx of money, I would actually end up buying another 20 acres to include farmland, so for the opportunity for residents to have their own farming section so they can grow produce themselves. That's been I would say a surprisingly huge request. Also, to be able to have deep walking paths and bike paths and things to just keep the residents active. And so 20-something acres at minimum, but depending on the raise and the pockets can really make it a nice, huge development. And the expansion plans, I'll talk about lightly because they're down the road, and I usually don't talk about this, but I want to give the listeners a little insight into how big this can be, will be. So Ghana will be the flagship location. Most Black Americans look at Ghana as the doorway to West Africa and to Africa. In fact, when we get Airbnb visitors, they'll stay with us for a week or two, and they're like, okay, now we're off to Rwanda to see if we want to stay there, or we're off to Kenya to see if that's better for us. Ghana's the first stop. They come with us, and then they're off to like 3 or 4 or 6 different other countries as they evaluate what's best for them. So in Ghana, I believe that we can add another 4 to 5 locations with different climates, different cultures, mountains, tropical, coastal, the bush, northern, Kumasi, the second biggest city. And then I believe that there's opportunity for at least 5 of the countries that always seem to be under consideration, along with Ghana, for relocation. So there's more locations in Ghana, there's more locations in West Africa. And when I've talked with some of the deep-pocketed real estate funds who look at the flagship project as a little too small for them to write their minimum check sizes, when we get to this level, and there's opportunity to really absorb big investment to spread across maybe 10 plus different locations, there's the opportunity for some of that Ghana interest. And there's a lot of real estate Ghana interest bubbling right now. It's only going to get more. I believe those checks will come in. And so I'll finish my presentation, this light presentation, with a question. I asked everyone the question. It's a trick question, so I apologize in advance. Because if you answer a certain way, then I don't see how you cannot be an investor. And the question is, this project has 144 apartments for rent. Do you think that I can get 144 people to rent from America? If you believe so, then you should be an investor. I've told Tawana this before. Personally, I think I can get 144 renters from Bed-Stuy or from MTA or from sanitation. And so it's a rhetorical question. I believe I can. I believe I can fill up another 3 to 5 locations. And if you believe I can, then I would invite you to not only consider, but to act and join the family and be an investor. And the last thing I'll say is, although the minimum investment, and we'll talk about this, the minimum investment is the crowdfunding there was $1,000. What I'm doing is for $10,000 minimums for the next capital fundraising round, which will be equity, I will incentivize I will add very appealing perks in the equity round for people who come in at the $10,000 level in this revenue share. And so with that, I'll stop sharing and I'll open up the floor for any questions.
Wonderful.
What, you said you want to be the first investor? What was that?
you know your girl got questions first, right? Wonderful presentation, Dale. Community members, now is the time for you to put your questions in the Q&A. I have been scribbling on my piece of paper. I got so many questions. I want to go first. First of all, from Brooklyn to Ghana. I love that. Like, I feel like there's a story somewhere in there, right? Like a Lifetime movie somewhere in there after you pull all of this off. So I love the transition. I love that you and your wife made this this venture to Ghana, and you still brought you with you, right? And so that Wall Street, 26 years on Wall Street guy still showed up in Ghana, and you found opportunity. And so I absolutely love that about you. So you didn't just sit back and retire yourself, right? You kept working, and you've not only, what I know about you, you've not only gone there and learned the lay of the land, but you've made connections and network. And so I love that in this 2 years, seems like a long time, but we know that, 2 years goes by like that. You've been busy. I mean, you really, really have. So I want you to talk a little bit about the connections that you've made in the construction industry and, from an architecture standpoint. Like, how have you built the network around you to make this project successful?
So I wanted to say one quick thing about something that you said, coming here, figuring it out. A lot of times Americans come here and they think they're coming to save Ghana with their brilliant idea. Instead of saying, let me read the room, what are the opportunities here? And so in Ghana, you make money in one of three ways, primarily. Well, they're all in dirt. It's mining, agriculture, and real estate. And so things that I was involved in, app development, technology plays in the States, not here yet. And so you have to get in where you fit in. And so to your specific question, in development, unlike the States, the toughest part of development in Ghana is the land acquisition, because there are two parallel paths. There's the legal, contractual, if anything happens, see you in court route that we're accustomed to in the States. But equally as important that we never experience in the States is the village, local, cultural path. Traditional behaviors and respect paid to the elders, that's sometimes more important than a contract. And so you have to walk these parallel paths, especially when you're dealing with investor money. And so a lot of the value that you bring to yourself is finding the expertise and local know-how of the people who can not only guide you through those parallel paths, but at least prevent you from falling into a landmine. And so, you're building relationships with surveyors, with engineers, with architects. These are people who know where the bodies are buried, where there's less risky landmines to be walking through. And so, a lot of the times when people come and fail, it's because they think they got all the answers, they can do it alone, they don't need any help. So, yeah.
Yeah, very, very good. So I want to take this deeper. When you started off, you talked about kind of the, where Ghana is and the advancement and the recognition it has, especially in this country. I went to Ghana during the year of the return, right? Fell in love with it, decided I wanted to live there one day, bought land, right? And it's still sitting there, right? And I haven't done anything with it. Um, and so when I hear you talk about the land acquisition being cumbersome, it was, but then also the delays with building, right? Deciding if you still want to do it or not. Deciding if you have the right team, finding the right team to help you build it, right? Because, you know, the places are scaring me all over the world, right? And not everyone has our best interests in mind all over the world. And so you deal with that component. I love that you've created this business model, first and foremost, that doesn't yet exist in Ghana, right? The retirement model. But I also love that you've made it easy for people to just come with their 20 suitcases, right? Just come. And so I want to talk about the units for a moment. You call them in your slide efficiencies. Let's talk about square footage, because I want people to really understand what they're getting, right, when they become one of the 144. So let's talk about square footage for a moment.
25 by 25 for single occupancy is about 625 square feet. A double is 950 square feet.
And when you say double, is that a 2-bedroom?
No, it's larger everything. And what's added is in the bathroom for the man, a separate urinal, but a larger bathroom, but not a 2-bedroom.
Okay. So a double occupancy is meant for 2 people, I mean, just what it sounds like, meant for a 2-person family versus just
because from our observation, outside of that 85% coming in, single Black women and young people who are not our market, and single Black men are couples, married couples.
Okay. And then for the people I have visiting me, they don't have to stay with me, right? They can go to the other part of that wonderful imagery where we see the Airbnb kind of area, right? Almost look like its own little town, right, on the property. How many units will be in there?
That's going to be 20.
Well, that'll be 20. So my friends can come visit. They can pay a per night or per week or per month rate, right? And stay as long as they need to stay. And then maybe one day they fall in love and decide to be one of the 104, right? Very good. Why do you think there are no senior living areas in Ghana already? Why do you think that model doesn't exist? And do you think there's a local market? I know right now we're talking about the expat community, but do you think there's a local market that would appreciate it?
So the reason is simple. If you're a developer in Ghana, you are doing very well building luxury apartments for, let's say, 75,000 USD and selling them on average for anywhere from 175 to 250,000 USD. There's no shortage of that. There's enough of that work for all of the developers for the next 15 years. The demand is outpacing the supply. So if you're a developer, why would you mess with the model? This is more of a slow burn kind of predictable cash flow, so people are going to do today what they did yesterday. Build that apartment, sell it for a lot more, take your money and move on. So that's number one. That's 1A. 1B, like I had referred to before, there are just gaps in knowledge that Ghanaians have about what Americans are accustomed to, what they've experienced, and what they want. So for a long time, Ghanaian developers were not building condo-like apartments. They were building semi-detached, colonial-like looking things, and said no one would ever buy a condo in Ghana. And then some pioneers started building condos. Now the Ghanaians are building condos. So there's that, inertia blockage. So your second question, now I don't want to be disrespectful, but there could be a local market. I don't need to know if there's a local market because I know that there's enough Black American market where this could be oversubscribed times 5 or 10. So it's possible that there's a local market, but now this is going to segue into an interesting point, a question that you didn't ask. All the projects that I'm working on over here, I've talked with you offline about my yam farm, investing in transport. My fiduciary responsibility is to return investment monies to my supporters, my investors. But equally important, I'm here to curate the American dollar, deploy it into wherever I'm located, and have my investors win and have Ghanaians win as well. And I bring it up to say, most of my effort is about getting the Black American expertise over here, as well as the Black American dollar, along with the Black American themselves. And so if I had to choose between, and I love my Ghanaian fellow compadres, but if I had to choose between putting a Ghanaian in the residential unit or bringing an American with an expertise who's going to set up shop, spread knowledge, deploy capital, I would choose the American because there's an undertone of community development that I'm also striving for as I build this project and deliver returns to my investors.
Very nice. Okay. Very, very good. Is there a minimum lease term? So if someone comes, do they need to sign a 2-year lease or 3-year lease?
So this is interesting. And by interesting, I mean hated. In Ghana, legally, in Ghana, you're not supposed to ask for more than 6 months rent at a time. That's the law. What happens is Ghanaian landlords always ask for at least 1 year, many times 2 years worth of rent up front. That's just the culture. That's just breaking the law. I know that my residents are getting a pension check or a Social Security check, so they got cash flow matching that they need to do. So this would be just like they are in America where it's monthly. I will probably offer discounts I won't require any commitments. It can be month to month, but I will offer discounts for people who do 6-month commitments and 1-year commitments.
I love that. Very good. All right, community, now it's your turn. Let's see, we got some questions here. Let's see. Karen says, do you expect the percentage of married couples to increase?
Well, let's look at the reality. That would be like asking me, do I expect the divorce rates to change, or do I expect the fact that Black women outlive Black men traditionally to change? I don't expect those things to change.
Okay. Karen also asked, have you secured a solar infrastructure supplier yet?
So there are 3 under consideration, 2 Ghanaian and 1 German. So I'm getting pricing bids from them as we speak.
Karen, do you have a 4th recommendation for Dale?
Is Karen in solar? I'll check out Karen's
I don't
solar.
know. That was a very specific question, which leads me to believe Karen might be in solar, right? You know, we always have someone in the industry that we're talking about, right? Or can complement the industry we're talking about. Oh, Patrice says she hated that she has to go early, but she had a bunch of questions. So I will get Patrice's questions and email them to you. Kimberly said, what airport would you fly into for this community?
It's the main one. Protocol.
So, and you fly into Accra?
Yeah.
Okay.
So just for location purposes, I'm located 40 minutes from, I'm located 40 minutes from the airport, behind the biggest mall in West Africa, the West Hills Mall. It's a new mall, 10 years old. It's like a little mini city. And the project used to be an hour and 10 minutes from that location. Mm-hmm. But what's happening is, partly due to political season, where in Ghana, all kinds of roads start getting fixed during election season and things like that, a road that goes to Cape Coast, most people come to Ghana know because you have to travel that road to go to the slave dungeons. It used to be a single one-way road going and coming. They're expanding it to 3 lanes each.
Wow.
And the activity that is bubbling up and down the highway now is incredible, which is why my land prices keep creeping up. And so what used to be an hour and 10 minutes, even on an unfinished bumpy road, wide, has gone from an hour and 10 minutes to 55 minutes, 45, 50 minutes. And I suspect if they finish the road the way I think they will, it might be a 30 to 35 minute trip from the mall, which is 40 minutes from the airport. Mm-hmm. So
nice, very good. So again, the development, right?
Yeah, here.
It's here, and it's supporting this project and all of the other development projects that are there, because they're putting money into the things that are going to allow these projects to flourish.
They're opening up new airports. They got electric buses. They got a new rail path. The infrastructure might not be coming as fast as people want it to, but it's coming.
Very, very interesting. And Ghana just had an election, didn't they?
Yeah,
president. Very good. So Karen said that yes, she is in that industry for solar. So I think you should drop your email here in the chat so that you guys could connect. You may get a fourth quote on some solar. Let's see. Karen said, do I need to become a 10K project member prior to investing in this project?
Absolutely.
I love it, Dale. So Karen, Dale is being kind. You do not. We open up these pitches to the entire community, even people who have not joined by paying the annual membership fee. And we do that deliberately because at the end of the day, we want to support the founders. We would love for you to be a paid member and take advantage of our wealth building, education, and all of the other things that we provide that are member-only services. But tonight's about Dale. And so you do not need to be a member to go to that We Funder campaign link that we've been dropping in order to invest in this project. But we would love to have you. And if you decide to join the 10K project, our email is the10kproject.com. All right. Kimberly said, what type of system is in place if someone wants to upgrade to a larger double unit?
Well, larger double.
That's a great question, because Kimberly, I'm thinking I need a little more than 650. Like, I need a little more space. So I would want the double occupancy.
Listen, double occupancy doesn't require 2 people. So there might be some individuals who want more space. But so now this might be a blind spot or an advantage on my part. I come from New York, where we used to live like rats. I lived in a 2-bedroom, downtown Brooklyn, 700 square feet with another human, and it was more than enough space. I thought, unless you're a hoarder. And so 625 for city people might be experienced differently than 625 from someone in the South or Midwest.
True. That's very true.
So,
or someone who happens to have a bigger apartment, because in the Bronx, our apartments were larger. And so we had a little more space.
That's true too. Now, also what I've experienced is people moving from bigger places where they had to clean and they appreciate
the downside.
Right, because remember, here, the concept is in your efficient apartment, you can exist very comfortably. But when you want to experience bigger things and airy things and communal things, there's a lot of space with people in nature. Right. So, yeah.
That's a good point as well. There's a community right outside the door, right? So I don't have to have everything I need right here in the space because I can go out not far, right? A few steps away and enjoy all of the other things I need. That's a good point. So there's a mindset shift that'll take place, right? Yeah. Very good. Priscilla says, what's the timeline for the completion of this awesome project?
Well, if I had all the money today, my construction consultant says that this could be built in 1 year and 4 months.
Wow, that's great.
Because it's not a complicated structure. It's 3 stories. It's not 12 or 15. There's no complicated, sophisticated. It's just a very simple structure. So because I don't have all the money, I'll do it in stages because the professional money who will come in at the end, they want to see milestones. And so whereas my friends and family have written checks with me just putting something on a napkin, the professional money wants to see concrete in the ground, rebar sprouting. And so it'll be a little bit longer than 1 year and 4 months. The good news is, unlike most businesses, which typically require 100% of completion before you start earning a dime, I could theoretically earn money by just building the first third. So I don't have to have all of the construction things paid for before I earn revenue. So,
and your design is conducive to that, right? Actually, when I was looking at it, you've got one shot that kind of shows the aerial view. I actually said to myself, I would do the Airbnb units first, and then I would do the first wing of the community and then build from there. Yeah.
Okay.
You can have that idea for free. Very nice. Talisha, do we have any questions in Facebook?
No, ma'am.
Right. Anonymous says, how much of the development is required to be completed before open? And realistically speaking, when would investor revenue return be possible? How many years?
So I believe that once I start going on the investment tour, this being the first stop, I believe I can raise probably 500,000 or a little bit more in 25, and 500,000 will go a long way to get dressed up for the prom, so that the big professional money investors can come in. And so I believe that if things go according to plan, I can have all, if not, most if not all of the money mid-26, which means that I can start building end of 26. So I expect some revenue to start showing up in 27.
Nice. That's, even if you said 28, I think that would have been a nice.
Yeah, and I would have said 28 if I needed to complete it 100%.
Right.
But to your point, in stages, 27. Now, fully completed, end of 28, maybe.
Yeah, very nice. But your costs are so low. I mean, I'm going back and visualizing your slide where I look at, you don't have to charge much to make that profit. I mean, so you've got good margins. Okay. Karen says she's giving you her information. Fresh Green Power at techsister.com. Did you capture that already, Dale? She's giving you her email addresses, and she says, thank you for your time answering and sharing this valuable information. Her strategic partners are Black women. So you've got 2 Ghanaians, a German, and Black women. 20 plus years.
To you, Dale. I just copied it and sent it to you, so you don't have to worry about that.
Starting in the lead. She's in the lead now.
So Karen, you're in the lead. I love it. Very, very good. All right. Any other questions for Dale? Make sure we don't have any stray questions in our chat.
So I just want to remind our viewers that, this first phase of a revenue share, I wanted to present the opportunity so that off the top, off the revenue, before anything is spent anywhere, we return the money as fast as we can. And I did it that way so that I could also give them confidence, like reward for showing early faith, early support, but also confidence that to even come in at the next round, additionally, as an equity partner to not only provide a faster return, but for me to give those early adopters my payback in terms of showing up early and showing support. So I encourage our watchers to come on in and join our investment group. And let's get this land so I can demarcate it and throw some foundation down and start bringing in the big money.
Very good, very good. Okay, I've got one more, I don't know if it's a question, more so a comment. I think about the $1,907, right, the Social Security income, and then I think about the $650 at the high end. I agree with Tracy. I want my double occupancy unit without a urinal, please. Just FYI. But I think about that space, and I think about that retiree, right, that comes there to live in peace, right, to finish out life in peace and to live a prosperous life at the end of their careers, right, and to be able to, when you say, being able to have a residual, not even including savings, be able to have that additional $1,200 left over after your Social Security check, your upper, I heard you say 2 uppers, your upper class. That concept is no one here in America could believe that could be the life they could live, right? I think about my mother when she passed away, and I don't think she was getting much less than that. Luckily, right, my dad, had left money and all of that stuff. And so to think that she would have only have to live on that little bit of money is heartbreaking. But to be able to go to a place where that little bit of money has magically turned into a lot of money, right? And life is different. The only thing missing for me is the dual citizenship piece. And so I would imagine that there's going to be some kind of support service or consultation that once people make this decision, are you going to is there going to be somebody on site to help them through what that citizenship process looks like?
Yeah, absolutely.
It could be confusing also, especially when I think about an older person, right?
So a lot of things to unpack in that harmless sentence you just put out. Number one, the $1,900 Social Security average is an average. So I just talked to a lady who's going to be coming to our Airbnb in December. She gets $1,000.
Yeah.
She's a teacher.
Wow.
And so her calculation of a lower teacher salary in the Midwest only gave her $1,000 per month in her Social Security check. So that 1907 is
national average.
Right.
Gotcha. Okay.
In the cities, I have clients who are getting $3,500 checks. No, I can't put her on blast. One of my clients who is going to be retiring from the Department of Education under 50, her check is going to be north of $4,000. So that 1907 is average.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one thing to think about. To your point about whatever the average check is, minus the rent that we can command, what's left over, how does it stretch? On our YouTube channel, we have several videos of how far the dial goes here. We've gone to markets and bought veggies and fruits and fish that you can't imagine. And when you come back and calculate what it costs you, it's fractional.
Yeah.
And so I spend a lot of time with people who are thinking about the move, who are coming here, just doing some back of the envelope math to see what life is really like here. And they're always blown away with the reality of things.
So that's a good point. There's a process, right? So everybody needs to follow your YouTube channel, right? So we need to put that, we need to tell us what that is, so that we can add that in the information that we send out. But there's a process. So it's not, I'm packing my 20 suitcases and I'm going, right? I'm joining the Monarch Village community and I'm kind of onboarding, right? And getting the understanding the lay of the land, right? So it's almost like you're building community even before you build the community.
And the last kind of thing you said, I'll just speak to quickly. Will you have people on premise? Well, we know that typically Americans, we come here and we have challenges around certain things. And that might be because things are done differently here, like getting your money from your American bank to your Ghana version of Cash App, which is called Momo. So that's not an easy thing. I know how to do it. I show all of our older friends how to do it. Having on-premise help with moving your money will be a big thing. So like a banking center, et cetera. Because you know what my background is in finance, I'll be able to offer a service that other developers can't even offer because they don't have my background. And that's a money center at almost zero cost to help you manage the money that you don't want to seem like it's too far away from your grip. So that will be there. But to your specific question, for all things immigration, for all things residency permit, for all things work permit, these are all the top things that us expats find a lot of challenges and headwinds getting and accomplishing because things are done differently here. The same things that I do helping the people who come to our Airbnb, I'm walking through this stuff, we'll have on-premise, on-site assistance with that stuff. So yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
I love this. I love everything about it. As I stated, as someone who now has land in Ghana, a plan like this makes me reconsider, right? So I may need you to help me sell my land because I like this. I like done for me. I like easy. I like not having to deal with anything that is not easy these days, right? I like the sense of community still around me, right? It's one of the things I realized I like. We just went to Morocco with the women's retreat, and they have communal eating for breakfast and for dinner. And I didn't think I would like it, and I loved it. Like, it felt like at the end of the day, coming together as a community and hearing what everybody did today, it blew me away that I loved it as much as I did, because I'm a loner, right? But I'm learning that in my older age, community matters so much more to me than I ever thought it would. And so I love this idea of a community of expats.
Now, since you brought up community, I'm going to speak to it. So right now, because the Black Americans who come here are spread far and wide, and because of their yearning for what you're talking about, they gland onto the only thing or the next thing or the only thing that they can that gives some semblance of community right now. It's a African-American group here in Ghana, primarily connected through WhatsApp. And occasionally you'll get together for the monthly meeting or some other activities, but it's a high demand for it. There's not enough of it. People are spread. And so I believe that that's going to be one of the biggest draws here, because it's elective. Sometimes you want to be left alone, and you can be. Sometimes you want to interact with nature, still alone, and you're allowed to. But sometimes you want to yuck it up with someone, and you have that option to double Dutch jump in when you need to, and then out when you need to. So the options are there. There's nothing like that here right now, and I think that most people, look, you would probably want that if you were moving to Missouri, but you definitely, if you move into a foreign land, I think.
Yeah, agreed. So there's two things we need before I give my final statement. Kimberly would like for you to share the Airbnb link to your current Airbnbs. And then also, I want you to share the YouTube link, or tell us what the name of the YouTube channel is so that we can...
Off the wheel. As a matter of fact, let me just do something, if I may.
Absolutely. And Larry said, Larry is a fellow founder over the top ladder, Larry Mickens. He said, Mr. Bryant has thought a lot about this being a success. Excellent concept.
Yeah, I have. So let's see. So let me just.
Okay, so Talisha just put the YouTube.
Oh, she did?
She put the YouTube link.
Okay, very good.
That's
and
good.
Then the Airbnb. The Airbnb is there. Also, off the wheel.
Wonderful. Oh, we got to put it, let's send it to Talisha. You got it. Yeah, perfect. She sent it to everyone. Wonderful. Very, very good. Well, this has been a wonderful evening, like I knew it would be. Wonderful presentation. I will give my final statements, and then Dale, I'll let you bring us home. First of all, again, thank you for allowing us to be a part of this journey and sharing this campaign with the 10K Project community. I always feel a little warm and fuzzy when one of our members has a project and can present it to us. And so thank you for that. I also want to say to the community, I remember a couple of years ago, we talked about, we want to do stuff on the code. We want to invest in the content. We want to invest. Like that was like a running theme that we talked about. Here's an opportunity to do just that, right? And it's an opportunity because one of the other things we talked about, again, out of all respect to our Ghanaian brothers and sisters, one of the other things we talked about as being a barrier to entry in that space is the trust factor, right? Is that we don't know the people. There are no boots on the ground. There's, how do we trust? That came up in a conversation a couple of times. In this situation, that is eliminated, right? And it's also a founder that understands the American culture. They understand the culture of their investors who are American, right? Because we know there's some differences and some variances there. And so I love that there is an American who has submerged himself into the country for the last 2 years and learned the lay of the land, building connections, creating this amazing project that now we get to follow, right? Potentially invest in if that's what you all decide to do. But you get someone who understands our culture, our ways, the way we think, the way we need to hear things, the way when we say things, what we really mean, right? All of those things that Americans kind of get a bad, especially Black Americans, get a bad rep for because people don't always understand us when we travel to other places. I love that you get that in Dale. Your job at this point is to continue to do your due diligence. I will never tell you not to do that. So do your due diligence. If you decide to invest in this project, please do so in a timely manner because that early bird deal is still out there, right? I want you to take advantage of the early bird rates. So there's that. But even more than investing, I want you to please share this campaign. Dale said that this campaign's been up since February. I want to kick myself for not seeing it sooner. And shame on Dale for not telling me about it sooner. Well, he's already been fussed at for that. But we want to make sure that we get in and that we, if we're interested, that we execute this, right? We've talked about the gift of equity. So this is not just about you this holiday season. Instead of running out there to the big box stores and all those other places trying to run out for last minute presents, go ahead and sign your loved one up. As long as they're over 18, you can sign them up for a WeFunder account. You can put this money, right, invest in their name, and that revenue share when it comes in, guess what? They got a check coming that they don't even know about. Isn't that a wonderful gift, right? So the gift of investing is something you can think about doing. But definitely tell your family and friends and your loved ones about this. Post it on your social platforms. We want to make sure Dale gets enough money to buy all of the lots that he needs, right? And then maybe even enough to start breaking ground, right? So we definitely want to do that. And we want to maximize what his phase one is going to look like, right? He's going to get to his phases. He's going to do this. There is nothing in my mind that is not going to tell you he is going to succeed at this. But how awesome would it be to be a part of it, right? How amazing would it be to be a part of, first of all, the first senior living facility in Ghana, right? Let's say that first, right? So you're an investor in the first senior living center. And based on what we saw, it will not be the last based on the business model that Dale has. So absolutely, Edward, it would be historical. I agree 100% with you. And so those are the things I want you to do. I'm asking you to do. Consider investing, do your due diligence, but also tell everyone about this. The other thing is consider being one of the 144, right? I mean, how cool would that be? I tell you, it's going to be hard for me not to think about that this evening as I settle down. Do I want to be one of the 144? Do I legit want to sell that land and be one of the 144? And there's a part of me whispering in the back of my head saying, yes, you do.
Tawana, even crazier to have your investment check pay for your rent.
What? Yes, that's what's up. That's what's up right there. Hey, you talking my language. I love it. Wow. All right, guys. You understand the assignment. It's on you. Don't let the holiday season distract you from the goals. We are not trying to get into credit card debt and all those other things we've worked so hard to get out of this holiday season. We need to continue to think about our fruitful future. So with that said, Dale, I'm going to turn it over to you to close us out. First of all, I'm going to thank you for staying up so late. He is in Ghana, y'all, and so it is late for him. So thank you, brother, so very much for supporting us, for being a member, for you and your wife supporting and being a member, and for educating the people on your experience. I think they're going to love the Off the Wheel YouTube channel. I've caught a couple of episodes. First of all, I think you guys are just super cute. And so I think they're going to love what they see and learn that life is actually pretty cool in Ghana. And so this could be an awakening for people that have been thinking about what to do and where to go, especially in the light of, just kind of where we are as a country. And I think the time is now for these conversations. So I think it's perfect timing that we're here talking about this when we are. So thank you very much.
So I want to just say 3 quick things. I only had 2, and then you just said timing, and it gave birth to the 3rd idea. And I'll start with that one first. I equate Ghana to the South Bronx, 1980. Back then, I think they were trying to sell buildings for $1, 3-legged dogs, burning garbage cans. Maybe it didn't deserve all the bad press it was getting, but that was the image. That was the South Bronx, 1980s. Now, on the Grand Concourse, a place that I used to be afraid to go to as a kid, there's private equity firms doing $50 million deals in the South Bronx. Eventually, everything gets developed. It's just a matter of, are you going to be on the investor side, or are you going to be on the consumer, I'm spending on its side? That's where Ghana is right now. Ghana is brand new, an infant. A lot of things that people complain about or people wish were different is because it's a new country. Things are developing. We're writing the rules as things are happening. Now is the time to come on board, because I will tell you, other people are coming. I got bad news for you, Tawana. When I look at the statistics of the Ghana cards that are processed, Black people are not number 1 for new residents. I'll just leave it at that. So a lot of times we're late to the party, and what happened? How come? This is the time. So I'll say that. That's number 1. Number 2, it's very rare where you can embark on an endeavor where you can get an appropriate risk-adjusted rate of return that is good for you and your pockets, but also to do something good in life. And like I had warned against, a lot of times Americans come to places, Ghana in this case, but other places around the globe, they think they have all the answers. They're the saviors. So I'm not here to say that I'm saving Ghana. But what I'm saying is there are people here who are doing amazing things with zero money. And all they need is a little collaboration. And this project, wherever we are, plans to be a beacon of light for collaboration to ignite economic activity. And I hope that 1,000 people follow me or copy me. So wherever we are, independently doing our thing collectively, we can make a little dent somewhere. So it's unusual to be able to make some money and do some good in life. Usually if you're making money, it's at the expense of something. So I'm happy to be a part of a project that can do that. And finally, I asked you before, I'll ask you again, sorry for being redundant, 144. If you think I can fill 144 rental slots, then you can send your check in right away. And I'll leave it at that. Thanks for watching.
Thank you, Dale. I appreciate you. To the community, thank you all for joining us this evening. Next week, we're going to have a session, and then after that, we're going to take a couple of weeks off because it's the holiday season, right? So think about the gift of investment as you do your final shopping. And thank you just for loving on us and for riding with us. You know, you guys know how I feel about you. Absolutely adore this community and am very grateful for the support that you continue to give us and the founders that we bring to the table. Thank you, guys. Have a wonderful evening. Good night. Peace and blessings. Good night, Dale. We'll talk soon.
I want to give a special thanks to the 10K Project. And you can find out more about how they help entrepreneurs raise capital here. So thanks for watching, and be sure to look out for our end of year wrap-up video dropping soon.